Hello, I'm William Gallagher, and this is 58 Keys, which is, well, it doesn't always come from here, but as always, as forever, is for writers like you and me, who use and who write and sometimes now travel on Macs, with Macs, iPhones and iPads. Except the Monday and the Friday videos, they're for all writers. Do subscribe, like, or patronise, because we have so much to talk about, and specifically this time, making yourself a writing retreat. So not an organised group that, join, you go somewhere, you're doing it all yourself. For which, we need to talk about certain things. Time. I mean, that's obvious, really, but there's more to it than just clearing a few days, booking a week off work, whatever you have to do. Then there'd be money, which again is also obvious, though I don't have as much to say about that. Something to write on. Certainly in my case, I'm bringing an iPad and various bits and pieces, although presumably that pen and, yeah, not judging. And I suggest a fourth thing is something to write, which is another thing that I think there's more to it than maybe I might have thought before. Actually, I suppose, saying this to you, all of this is the same. If you sign up to an organised writing retreat event thing, and I'm not in any way saying you shouldn't. I mean, organised ones mean you're going to be with other writers, which means you're with people who get it, who know why we do this thing. Actually, the last time I mentioned writing retreats on 58 Keys, I was then told afterwards about one where only one writer out of the group had done any actual writing, and the rest had spent the entire time. I believe the phrase was a hurricane of fornication. I'm on my own. Doing it yourself means you're not tied to anyone else's dates, at least, not to the organisers' dates or the venues. You've still got to arrange things in an office. Plus, actually, when I wanted to do a writing retreat, I looked into organised ones, and it seemed like the prices were around the same, about the same that I could do myself, or actually, a couple of cases, they were substantially more. Let's actually, I tell you what, let's have that be the whole money section for it. You need money, or you can't go away, or you can't eat. When you get there, this is really obvious. How about this? I can tell you this. In all, it has so far cost me £600 for 4 days in Paris. That's travelling across the UK to London, then Eurostar train to Paris, and then this hotel. I mean, it does not include food. I don't know what that's come out to yet. On the first day, I was surprised how much less food was costing me than I expected, but then I realised usually when I'm in Paris, because I'm normally here with my wife, and so every meal is normally twice the price. Yeah, math boy. You could of course save all of this money, or twice. You could save all of it by doing a self-assembly writing retreat at home. No question, you definitely could. For me though, I knew that if I spent the time at my home in Birmingham, I would go back to my desk at my office, and I would go back to that keyboard probably pretty much constantly. If I went anywhere near home, well, I would go back. I'd go back on a breeze. If a client happened to mention that it'd be good to have something written someday, I'd be right there. I'd snap back into work mode, need to get it done. So I knew I needed to get far away and also not listen to any clients. So I considered London, Edinburgh, Cardiff, Manchester, and then why not Paris? Location matters. It's just not maybe in the usual way. It has to be a location away from wherever you normally are. It being somewhere great is a bonus, obviously. And that business of not listening to clients, take a look at this, please. This is my regular iPhone home screen, except I've temporarily added a Paris button at the bottom. Press that and all my usual apps go away, leaving just the ones I need or the ones I fancy for travel. And what's more, all the notifications are turned off. So the red badge on that mail icon, gone. I can look at that screen and not be distracted, not be guilted back into working mode while my Paris thing is on. If I tell you do that with just a shortcut and a focus mode, we can come back to it at the end, because I mean it's remarkably easy to set up, but it takes some steps, and yeah, you get the idea. We'll go through it later, but we need to talk now more about time in general. Excuse me. If you're going to go away on a retreat, right, you need to clear some time in which to do it. For the quality of information you get from me. Clearing time, though, I mean, well, it may well require booking time off work, or it can involve talking with, arranging things with your family, you know the thing. But this can be just the same as when you want to write at home for an hour or two, but there's a meal to be cooked, there's washing you got to do, there's friends to go out with. It can be really hard to decide to spend time writing, and it can be really hard telling your friends and family that that is what you're going to do. I mean, doubtlessly they're all fine people, but if they're not writers, well, they don't get it, and there's no reason they should, really, is there? And, okay, they will ask, when's it being published? And, oh yeah, when's the film's coming out? And, are you rich yet? Next round's on you. Every reason they shouldn't. But yet, when something is organised, somehow everybody gets it, everybody accepts it. I don't quite know why. Well, I mean, you've paid for that evening class, you've booked on an organised writing retreat, you've paid over cash. People don't question why as much. So when it's your own retreat, well, you don't get that, but you need to push through and just do the retreat anyway. And I will tell you this, the first time you say you're going away to write, you may get those questions. You may even get looks that go, wasting your time, aren't you? But it does change. The second time and the third, no, wait, that sounds like I'm trying to get you to go on retreats all the time. If you're on retreat all the time, what do you call the work? Anyway, what I'm saying really is, if you need to do this, you need to do it if you possibly can, and just accept that everyone else around you, they'll cop on eventually. In my case, actually, things were slightly different circumstances. I mean, I already write full-time for a living. I work from home, so I'm not in an office. There was some negotiation to do, but not as much as maybe at a newsroom. But to turn this around, I had these two big projects come to an end, and actually, as soon as I get back, I have two more big projects starting up now. I'm hesitating there because they're only big to me. It's not like I'm putting satellites into space or something. But they felt big enough on top of the regular writing commitments I already had that I wasn't able to do my own writing, and I was coming to crave this gap between the two. And I decided to fill it with a writing retreat. There'd been no time for any of my own writing, if you like, writing that will become useful later. I needed some space to do that. The writing of my own, instead of writing just what I was commissioned to do, just what I was hired to do. Something else about time, though. I managed to clear 4 days, Saturday to Tuesday, and yeah, it's not enough. You lose so much of the first and the last days to travel. And actually, I was astonished how tired I was when I finally got here. I had to sleep as soon as I got in. But then I probably shouldn't have been surprised, because actually, I've always had this thing that I will work like mad. All possible hours, really, like right up to the instant of the retreat or the holiday or the weekend thing or whatever it is. And then honestly collapse like a zombie, or sometimes I'll just get a cold with at the moment I'm away. Still, I was really tired, I think, for the first 2 days, which out of 4 is pretty bad. I did write on both of them, though, but in the end it was chiefly the Monday of the 4 days that I wrote a reasonable amount. Well, actually, let me tell you. On the Saturday and the Sunday, I wrote for about 2.5 hours each. Then on Monday, it was 6.5 straight. And actually, as I record this, the last day, it's the Tuesday, so far I've written for about an hour, maybe 2 hours, something like that. And I do expect to get another couple of hours on the train. All right, personally, I don't think that's anywhere near as much time as I'd hoped. But actually, it was enough. I finished a major rewrite of a piece that I've been on for a while that I'm actually really pleased with. So I'm very happy with that. I think the thing is, not to beat yourself up about specific times. Do have a plan, even though you need to be willing to let that plan go. I mean, I intended 6 hours writing each day, except I exceeded it on the Monday. Except for the travelling ones, I hope to do 3 or 4. So yeah, no, I still blew it, didn't I, practically all of the time. But it seemed to work out. Plus, I did get to see quite a lot of time. I spent a lot of time running around Paris. Going somewhere far away from your home desk, right, is the essential bit. Going somewhere great is a bonus. And of course, if you do go somewhere great, like Paris, of course, you mustn't spend all your time locked up in your hotel room. I am wondering, actually, whether I am solely telling you things you already know, but let's call it positive reinforcement. And especially as I feel I need guardrails on a retreat. I mean, without some kind of plan for the sides, the edges of the writing, I'll either just sit there in the hotel room writing all the time and entirely miss everything around me, or I'll just go exploring everything around me and never quite get round to writing in the hotel room or wherever it is. Don't have too many targets. I think too many things to write or to do or to go or to see, but have some of all of it. For instance, this is Sunday, October 5, 2025. It's about 11 a.m. Central European time, got to remember that. And I'm at La Geode in Le Parc de la Villette. It's near my hotel in the 19th arrondissement. It's also known as the cheapest hotel I could find, but it's full. The whole area, and particularly around here on La Geode, are full of things that I don't understand, but I really like. It's got this, which is actually the reason I came here today. And it also has some familiar things. Yeah, no, don't really like Burger King. Don't know why. Although, brilliant planning here. As it is a Sunday and very windy, I am surrounded by so many interesting places that appear to be closed all day. Was that a good idea, William? I don't know. Except Burger King. Unfortunately, La Geode. I think I've lost about an hour's writing time coming here, and actually I'm going to lose about another 45 minutes watching an IMAX film inside the globe in French. Then my intention is to go back to the hotel, looking for lunch along the way. You really need to know all this, but be back in my room in time to write, but also for the 58 Keys live writing sprint, which is an hour's chat every Sunday about, well, it's for writing and it's for patrons of 58 Keys. Patrons, never quite know how to say this. That's the only thing in this whole trip that I'm doing that connects to home. The only meeting, I suppose, if you like. Also, the only connection, emails. I'm not taking any calls. And I'm deliberately in a Parisian writing retreat bubble, but there are some things you can't miss. Oh, actually, doors are opening. Time for the film. So Monday, October 6, 2025 was really my last full day in Paris. On the Sunday night, I lose track of the days even in full, I found a new restaurant. I'm absolutely determined not to keep visiting the same place in such a, I want to find a range, get as much as I can of the atmosphere around here. I got into conversation with a photographer, had a very good time, but also, unfortunately, I got quite a dodgy stomach afterwards. But since Monday needed to be a day I got some serious writing hours in, I did. I planned to work, and I did work right through the day here in my hotel room. And then I was determined actually that I would specifically put the writing away and go somewhere else. Then the plan, you really need to know all this, don't you? My plan is to head to Le Pure Cafe, which is the cafe in before sunset, the film. And I need to get there, have lunch, preferably write during lunch. Actually, I've got to get some writing done. And then get back to my hotel before sunset. I didn't think of that. And okay, not to have you watching me type for hours, let me tell you that this desk chair got to be really uncomfortable after a few hours, so I switched over to sitting on the bed. And actually, I also put on AirPods Pro. Once I knew that the room cleaner had been and gone, I didn't want to miss, I don't really want coming in. It seemed weird to be in Paris with the screen in your face and music blocking out the sounds of the city, but it was pretty good. Really. Actually, since I mentioned the chair, let me be a little bit more specific about the writing setup that I brought. And do you care? But what would I have done again? This is my 2021 11-inch iPad Pro and Magic Keyboard for it. I did also bring a Logitech external keyboard and a mouse with me because I actually thought I'd be writing on a wider desk. As it was really narrow, I mostly wrote on the Magic Keyboard, and I spent all 4 days carrying around just the iPad. So whenever I wrote anything outside, it was on just this, and that was great. But during that writing sprint, I actually figured my face would be so close to the camera on the iPad that I'd look faintly disturbing. So in that case, I did get out the external keyboard, kind of put it on my knees, and I worked on that, and it worked well. Definitely I'll do that again with a hopefully bigger desk because it's a very good keyboard, and in fact I carried on using it for an hour or more after that Zoom call. I also carried this battery around with me everywhere in Paris. It's a Ugreen Nexode power bank, which meant I was never out of battery power despite heavy use of both the iPad and my iPhone, although actually Speaking of the word heavy. I like that I never forget I've got it, but it was actually a brick in my pocket. I might look for a lighter alternative if I do this again, but otherwise it'll be the same, except for one more thing. I did also use, that was a Ugreen thing, I used a Ugreen mains charger plug as well, together with a French adapter, and I did realise that I didn't have enough ports to charge everything I needed overnight, but I plugged the iPhone and the iPad into the charger and into the wall, and then I plugged my Apple Watch cable into the iPad, and all three charged. I don't know if this is right or if I was just doing something wrong somewhere, but to make that work, I had to charge the iPad using this side port, you can see it on the Magic Keyboard, and then the Apple Watch cable plugged into the iPad's own USB-C port. When I tried it the other way around, it didn't seem to work. I don't know. That did actually leave, hang on, it's weighing me down, that big battery, but A, it's so big, it wasn't going to run down much during the day. And two, actually, I would swap the iPad cable out and put it in there, and if I got up in the middle of the night and if I remembered. One last thing about time. I was afraid, actually, that once I'd decided to devote these 4 days to a writer, and actually especially once I'd booked Paris, that I was going to put, too much pressure on the thing, I suppose too much pressure on myself, that I would build it up as this great writing opportunity, which actually it is, but, build it up, and then if I couldn't write, or if what I wrote was rubbish, that'd be more crushing than normal. Right up to the night before I came, I wasn't sure what to write either. I mean, there's this project that in the end I did, and I'm pleased about, sure, but there's another one that I've just started and I'm really into. And I also realised very recently, a couple of days ago, that I want to make a non-fiction book based on the now 50 or more, 58 Keys Writing Workshop videos, ones that go out for all writers on this channel every Monday. Pick one. Pick something. Doesn't matter which it is. Write what you can. Doesn't matter too much what you do. Being away, being clear of everything else, being somewhere tremendous, right? It is all fuel. Because, of course, this is not your only time to write, your only chance to write. This is filling you up for all the writing that you're going to carry on doing afterwards. And maybe, when you've done a writing retreat like this, you'll also crave that shortcut I showed you that shuts everyone up. Let me show you, actually, tell you what, just because it's so noisy here, let me show you that one back in my office while I unpack. Weird being back. But anyway, that shortcut I kept telling you about, let's you and I make that. So, as it happens, this is my iPhone home screen. Well, it's just two of them, two levels of it, keep it down to two. And now just, press to wiggle edit the home screen. And if you swipe across, you now get a blank page available to you. But then if you swipe across again, what you get is the possibly more familiar app library, although actually scrolling through this is, for some reason I can't see anything I want for this example, but okay, if you tap at the very top instead, what you get is a complete list of all apps that are available, all apps on my iPhone. And well, actually, there you go, TripIt. That'll do. I will have that one, and I just drag it out, pop it somewhere in the middle of one of these blank pages that appears. And now actually, I mean, you can keep doing this, but just for one more example, let's go back again. Wallet. Okay, actually, I've actually been using Apple Wallet a lot lately. Pop that across there, put it next to TripIt, why not? And of course, you can keep doing this. You can add any more apps, but for now, we're kind of done with designing a new home screen. One important thing is that I already do have TripIt and Wallet on my regular home screens. This doesn't change that, doesn't affect it at all. These are like copies of these apps. I mean, a bad example, they're not copies. It's not that I've got two now and that I could enter different things into each one. It is the same app, but it's showing up in two places as if I had two copies. Now, while the wiggling is still going on, press and tap on the bottom, the row of 4 dots. You may have more dots, depends on how many pages you've got, but tap on that and you get this list of all possible home screens that I have fiddled about with in the past. And right there at the bottom is the one I just made. Tap to clear it. I don't want to always see this. I only want to see it when I'm away. So tap to clear it from the list of what I normally see. And now tap done. Okay, so we're back to like my regular home screen, and there is no sign of this other new home screen at all. Next, go into settings, focus. As I'm looking at that list, I can't create any more here because there's a limit of 10 for some reason, and I've got that many already. But for you, just for you, willing to sacrifice the fitness one. I know it's tough, but yeah. Go into that or any of them, swipe to the very bottom, delete. Oh yeah, I'm very sure. Thank you. With one gone, or however many more, at the top corner adds a plus sign for making a new one. You could also edit, but let's do a new one by tapping the plus sign. You get these options. Honestly, I've only ever tried customize. I've not even looked at the rest, I don't think. I mean, I'm sure they're great, but let's go into customize, and really importantly, get rid of that horrible color and face. Give it a name. No, I just can't bear that face. That's right. That'll do. Okay. Some instructions. I mean, you could freeze frame this if you haven't seen them, or just wait till you see it yourself. But I've read it a few times, so I'll skip that for now. I should say though, I'm not going to do anything here with people, although I did for the Paris thing, because that would mean showing you people. But I will go into this app section here, and actually it's the same kind of thing. It works in the same way. I'm going to here decide which apps I will allow to give me notifications, and in the people section what you would do is allow who you will allow through when they call or they message you. Okay. Actually, looking at this list of apps, I don't really remember choosing any of these, so it's possible that it's a default set based on maybe what I use a lot. I don't know, but anyway, I can untick ones. I can also add, well, actually, let's add TripIt, because like I've just said, I want that on my new traveling home screen. So find that, there we go, tap it, and then done. And so now I am allowing notifications from TripIt, should there be any. Next, this is the bit with the screens and the stuff. What a great word that is there. Thing in the middle, that's the main one for me, that's for us. This is to do with the home screen. Tap that, and there again, this is a list of everything I have, every home screen I've ever created and fiddled about with and not ever remember to delete. I'm only selecting now the new one because I only want to see this new one when I'm traveling. And well, actually, all right, tell you what, you don't have to do any of this, but why not? It's right there. Let's have a look at the lock screen. Let's change the lock screen wallpaper so that when you pick up the phone, it just looks different to normal. Fine, New York. Any shot you like, any shot you've got, that'll do. Next, watch. Well, I'll tell you what, actually, I'm going to pick this one totally at random because otherwise I could spend hours thinking about which face to do. But okay, random watch face, fine. But now, that's all done. I could set it, I could go further, I could set it so that this focus mode turns on when I'm at a certain location or when it's a certain time. Or actually at any point you can just do this. Swipe down the control center, tap on that focus. Oh, this is important, not ever the icon, just the word next to it. Tapping the icon turns it on and off, tapping the word brings you the list, and find that there's 58 keys in the list. Tap on that, and if we come out of control center again, there it is, you can see it. Oh, actually, in this case, it's telling you what it's done because it's the first time. This is now my only home screen. Wiggle back and forth, there's nothing else there. To come back out of it and to go back to my regular one, swipe down control center. Again, tap off the focus mode, and here you could press the icon actually, but tap on the list and gone. Here we are, back to normal. Now, that could be it, because that's enough, isn't it really? But I wanted a button, give me a button. Just show you how it's done. I'm going to get rid of the one I did for Paris. It's very sad to see it go. And head into shortcuts. Create a new shortcut. Give this one a name just so you can find it later. And under actions, you look for focus mode. Here is one confusing thing of shortcuts. There's a few set focuses. And I'm reasonably sure the one I want is the one with the sort of half moon shape icon. You get different ones depending on the apps you have installed. And I don't know. In this case, I've got it right. Turn that on and choosing a focus mode and turn that focus mode on until turned off. That's it. That's my complete shortcut, except want it as a button. So press on the top again, choose add to home screen, and again we got to schlep through the colors and the faces and icons, whatever, and then finally tap to add. As it happens, actually, because there was a gap there, because I deleted the Paris one, the new shortcut popped in just where the Paris one had been. If it hadn't, if it went on another screen, you could wiggle drag it wherever you like. But now, if I tap that button instantly into that focus mode, I could make another button to get me out of it as well, but I don't want to get out of it so easily. I wanted to make coming out of it a reluctant positive step. So I make myself have to do it through Control Center like this. And that's my Paris for my travel shortcut. And that's my Paris writing retreat done. Gotta say, actually, it feels like I've been back a year. Actually, you and I, we should go back to Paris, shouldn't we, the two of us? Get so much writing done. I'd show you Le Pure Cafe from Before Sunset, all of that. But for now, that's it for this edition of 58 Keys. Thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourself. It's so important. Write more on a retreat if you can. And I'll see you soon.